Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather recently shared the ring for what was meant to be a simple sparring session. Crawford, preparing for a possible fight with Canelo Alvarez, asked Mayweather to be his partner. Mayweather, famous for his defense and unbeaten 50-0 record, didn't think twice before stepping in. But the session turned into something bigger, leaving everyone in the gym talking about Crawford's incredible skill and the fact that even legends like Mayweather aren't unbeatable anymore.
Don't get me wrong, Crawford is his own breed, but I cannot put Crawford. Crawford is is his own category, and I would never put him in a box or category with Floyd because he's that different. And then Crawford has moments where he will go toe-to-toe with you versus Floyd would never do it.
He did.
In the opening exchanges, Mayweather relied on the style that made him one of the greatest. His footwork was sharp, his head movement was on point, and his counters landed clean. Even at 47, his ability to read opponents was still amazing. But Crawford wasn't intimidated. As a 4-division world champion with 31 knockouts and an undefeated 41-0 record, he had no plans of holding back, even against a legend. The sparring started with both feeling each other out, and Mayweather's experience showed as he made Crawford miss by small margins, using angles to avoid big shots. Crawford, always smart, kept pressing, switching stances, and adjusting his rhythm to find openings. With each round, it was clear this wasn't just an ordinary session. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. During a fast exchange, Crawford spotted an opening and threw a perfect right hook that slipped past Mayweather's guard, landing flush on his chin. For a second, Mayweather's legs buckled, a brief but clear reaction that caught everyone's attention.
Eso. Eso, venga. 5, venga. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eso. Enjoy.
Crawford didn't follow up. It was just sparring. But the moment still meant something. Mayweather quickly regained his balance and carried on like nothing happened. But everyone watching knew they had witnessed something big. Mayweather, the master of defense who had spent his career avoiding shots like that, had been caught in a way that never happened in his prime. Later, Crawford's trainer Brian McIntyre spoke proudly about the session, saying, "That's what makes Terence special. He's got that edge, that hunger. Even in sparring, he finds a way to impose himself. That's what separates good fighters from great ones."
Have you thought about going for 51-0, beating Mayweather's record with 50-0? Is that something that you thought about?
I already said I wasn't never gonna beat Mayweather record. That's not something that I wanted to do.
Okay.
Mayweather, always a professional, took the shot in stride. His prime years may be behind him, but his knowledge of the sport and ability to adapt in the ring are still unmatched. For him, sparring with Crawford wasn't about proving anything. It was about staying connected to the sport he ruled for so long. Crawford's performance only added to the growing comparisons between them. Now a 4-division champion and one of just 3 fighters in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 2 weight classes, Crawford's name is being mentioned alongside Mayweather's more than ever. Sparring with Floyd, even as he nears 50, was another chance for Crawford to test himself against one of boxing's all-time greats.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Crawford has always embraced challenges, whether it's dominating opponents or moving up in weight to prove himself. Sparring with Mayweather only strengthened his belief in his skills as one of the most complete fighters of his era. His ability to land on a defensive genius like Mayweather, even for a moment, showed just how much he has grown. Mayweather's legacy remains untouched. At his peak, he was unbeatable, defeating everyone from Canelo Alvarez to Manny Pacquiao with ease. While his reflexes may have slowed, his impact on boxing and his place among the greatest fighters in history are beyond question. For Crawford, this sparring session was not just a learning experience from a master, but also a chance to show his own standing in the boxing world.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
The session ended with mutual respect between the two. Mayweather's calm demeanor and willingness to share the ring with Crawford showed his confidence, even as he gets older. Crawford, on the other hand, left more motivated than ever, knowing the challenges ahead, especially with talks of moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Moments like this shape careers. Landing that right hook wasn't just about the punch. It was about stepping in with a legend and proving he belongs in the same conversation. That was for Mayweather. It was a reminder that even as time passes, his legacy as one of boxing's greatest minds remains untouchable.
Being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Who heard it?
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this
Crawford
confirmation here
Canelo.
first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around.
Boxing fans have been talking ever since rumors of a potential
Boxing fans have been buzzing ever since rumors of a possible 2025 fight between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez started circulating. Though the source of these talks is still unclear, the idea has already shaken up the sport. Crawford, fresh off a career-defining win against Errol Spence Jr., is at his peak, while Canelo remains the face of boxing, drawing attention every time he fights. Even though the matchup is just speculation for now, it has already divided fans and sparked heated debates among boxing experts.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on.
One of the loudest voices in the debate is Showbiz the Adult, who wasted no time dismissing Crawford's chances, comparing him to Floyd Mayweather, who dominated Canelo in 2013. According to Showbiz and many others, Crawford isn't on Mayweather's level when it comes to defense, ring IQ, and quick adjustments. Let's not forget what Floyd did to Canelo, Showbiz said. That wasn't just a win, it was a masterclass. Crawford doesn't have that kind of fight in him. However, some fans disagree, arguing that Showbiz is underestimating Crawford, especially after he managed to outsmart Mayweather in a sparring session.
He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just sparring, and the details are still kept secret, but insiders say Crawford got the better of the undefeated legend. If this is true, it would be a huge achievement for Crawford, especially considering Mayweather's defensive genius. Showbiz says Crawford isn't Mayweather, but Crawford just outsmarted Floyd in sparring. What does that tell you? One fan posted on Twitter, "Crawford is the real deal, and Canelo better watch out." While sparring isn't the same as a real fight, it's hard to ignore how much this boosts Crawford's credibility.
The others say, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But
if Crawford can outthink and outmaneuver a fighter like Mayweather, he may have what it takes to trouble Canelo. Still, Showbiz stood by his criticism, pointing out that sparring isn't a true reflection of how a fighter will perform in a real fight. Sparring is controlled, he said. It's not 12 rounds with millions watching, with belts and legacies on the line. Crawford might have had a good day in the gym, but that doesn't mean he can handle Canelo's power at 168 pounds. This is where the conversation takes a more controversial turn. Many fans believe that Crawford's move up in weight to face Canelo is unrealistic and even risky. Canelo has spent years dominating at middleweight and super middleweight, fighting against naturally bigger men. His power in these higher weight classes is well known, with many opponents unable to handle his strength, especially as he moved up in weight. Meanwhile, Crawford only recently moved up to junior middleweight and hasn't really tested himself against the top fighters in that division. Critics argue that Crawford's speed and sharpness, his best weapons, might be affected by the extra weight. You can't just bulk up and expect your skills to stay the same, Showbiz said. Crawford's going into the lion's den, and Canelo's the king of that jungle.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts.
Yeah.
I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter.
The concern is valid, as moving up in weight can affect a fighter's agility, conditioning, and timing, making it a risky move for Crawford to face someone as tough as Canelo at super middleweight. However, not everyone agrees. Hall of Fame trainer Teddy Atlas added his perspective to the debate, saying that Crawford's technical brilliance might actually cancel out Canelo's size advantage. Crawford is special, Atlas said on his podcast. He's got the footwork, the IQ, the ability to switch stances mid-fight. Canelo hasn't faced anyone like that in years. If Crawford stays disciplined, he can give Canelo trouble. But what about the mental side of things?
At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford. But you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
Critics of Crawford argue that he hasn't faced a fighter of Canelo's caliber, both in skill and experience. While Crawford has been dominant, his biggest wins against Spence, Amir Khan, and Madrimov don't compare to Canelo's resume. Canelo has shared the ring with fighters like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant, fighters who tested him in ways Crawford has yet to experience. This difference in experience is a key reason some analysts favor Canelo in a potential matchup. However, others believe Crawford's ability to adjust mid-fight gives him the advantage. Former two-weight world champion Timothy Bradley, a longtime admirer of Crawford, thinks the Omaha native has what it takes to expose Canelo's weaknesses. Canelo has slowed down, Bradley said. His footwork isn't what it used to be, and Crawford can take advantage of that. I'm telling you, if they fight, Crawford wins on points. Mark my words. Another controversial aspect is the role that politics and promotion might play in making this fight happen. Canelo is signed to a big deal with DAZN, while Crawford has no ties to a single promoter, giving him more flexibility. However, both fighters have historically been careful about protecting their legacies, leading some fans to wonder if this fight will ever happen. It's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to sign the contract, said one boxing journalist. Both guys have a lot to lose, and that's why this fight is so intriguing. There's also the issue of public perception. A loss to Crawford would hurt Canelo's reputation as one of the greatest of his generation. While if Crawford moves up in weight and is overpowered, critics will say he overreached. This high-stakes dynamic is exactly what makes this potential matchup so exciting. As the debate continues, Crawford and Canelo remain silent, letting the rumors swirl without confirming anything. Still, the boxing world can't help but dream about what could be. What's clear is that Crawford versus Canelo isn't just another super fight. It's a clash of styles, eras, and legacies.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about
Terence Crawford believes he has all the right attributes to pull off a monumental upset against Canelo Alvarez. The two boxing titans are reportedly finalizing a deal for a fight on Mexican Independence Day weekend in Las Vegas, according to ESPN's Mike Coppinger. Crawford will climb 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at his natural home of super middleweight, without a rehydration clause. Most experts expected there to be some sort of agreement to limit how much weight Canelo could put on between the weigh-in and fight day, given the size difference between the two. Crawford is the much smaller man, having only recently moved up to super welterweight, while Canelo has fought as high as light heavyweight in his career. Despite the size difference, Crawford's trainer, Brian "Bo-Mac" McIntyre, insists there won't be any weight restrictions and even suggested that they didn't want one. Crawford is confident in his ability to overcome the odds. He's one of only 3 boxers, along with Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue, to become a 2-weight undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. If anyone can do it, it's Crawford, who remains undefeated after 41 professional fights. He has an elite ring IQ and believes this will be the key to winning. "I'm the type of guy who likes to feel my opponents out and adjust to what they're doing," Crawford said. "I think that's my greatest attribute, to be able to figure out every opponent I've faced thus far. I'm looking to do the same when the Canelo fight happens." Crawford's words are more than just talk. He knows he's the underdog, but that's never stopped him from silencing the doubters before. "I'm going to feel great at 168 pounds. I don't need to worry about the weight. I know I'm going to feel great," he said, with no signs of hesitation or fear. "I've got a lot of things to prepare for. That's part of boxing. You meet milestones you've got to hit." Canelo is a monster at super middleweight, known for his power and ability to break down opponents with his body shots. But Crawford doesn't seem fazed. He's more than just a slick boxer. He's a master at adapting. Every fighter he's faced, he's adjusted to, learning their game and finding a way to win. Moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo is a massive challenge, but Crawford's speed, footwork, and boxing intelligence have earned him a reputation as one of the hardest fighters to figure out.
Is it fair to say that Bud gave Canelo the opportunity, not vice versa?
No.
Because Bud came with the bag.
It's not.
Bud
It's
came
not.
with the bag, nigga.
You can't say that because
Bud
you
came,
yes,
Bud came with the Bud came
y'all-
with the bag, nigga. The reason
Again,
that the
they
fight
been
happened
asking
there.
for Canelo, bro. Y'all-
Canelo wasn't
They're asking
fucking
for
with
Canelo Benavidez. Canelo ain't take that.
While Canelo is the favorite, many believe that Crawford's sharp mind and adaptability give him a serious shot at the upset. Crawford isn't one to shy away from a challenge. He's proven himself time and time again by dominating fighters across multiple weight classes. His win over Errol Spence Jr. is fresh in the minds of boxing fans everywhere, and now Crawford is aiming to do the same against one of the most established names in boxing today. However, some fans believe that Canelo's size advantage will be too much for Crawford to handle. It's hard to ignore the fact that Canelo has fought at 175 pounds before, and even though he's coming down to 168 pounds for this fight, he's still significantly bigger than Crawford. It's easy to picture Crawford getting bullied in the clinches or struggling to get his shots off effectively against Canelo's heavy hands.
Everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds?
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, catch weight. We can do something at a catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably 160 or something.
Crawford has always embraced challenges. He's never been the biggest guy in the ring, yet he's consistently outclassed opponents. His ability to control distance, use his jab, and mix in counter punches makes him a dangerous fighter, no matter the size of his opponent. While the odds are stacked against him in this fight, if anyone can defy expectations, it's Crawford. His trainer, BAC, believes Crawford's ability to outthink Canelo will give him the edge. With the fight set for Mexican Independence Day weekend, there's no bigger stage for Crawford to prove he belongs among the greatest fighters of all time. People have said Crawford is too small, but he's never let size determine his fate. His impressive resume speaks for itself, but beating Canelo at super middleweight would be his greatest achievement, solidifying his legacy as one of the best of his generation. Crawford's confidence is clear. He knows it's a huge challenge, but he's been in situations where everyone counted him out and he came out on top. That's the mindset of a true champion. No fear, no excuses, just a relentless pursuit of victory. When the fight finally happens, all eyes will be on Las Vegas. Will Crawford be able to overcome the size disadvantage and stop Canelo's reign at super middleweight? Or will Canelo prove once again that he's the king of the division, shutting down any doubts about his power and skill? Whatever the outcome, one thing is for sure. This will be a fight fans talk about for years to come. Terence Crawford is ready to show the world that he belongs among the greatest boxers of all time, no matter what the doubters say. What do you think of the fight? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.